Hey again everybody, John Goff, BTV Digger. Thanks for joining me on my next video here. Well, it's been a while since I've posted, but I appreciate you sticking with me. It's not that I haven't been out hunting. I always try to get out and do a little metal detecting here and there between the times I'm working and have home projects and things of that nature. You know how it goes. And as it's getting colder here in the North Country, I'm getting more and more confined to the Champlain Valley because you go up into the hills and the ground's frozen, or at least here in northern Vermont, there's snow on the ground as we get into late November here. So this is a series of 3 different hunts, 2 shorter hunts and 1 longer hunt. Ironically, I find most of my better stuff on the short hunt, a couple private property permission sites and 1 on public property. But I find some relics as always I'd like to share with you. I get some old 1800 stuff and even back into the 1700s with some Colonial era relics as well. So come along and join me and I'll show you what I found, including some old coins. Well, I apologize the noise here. I'm right here at a busy intersection, but it's Saturday, November the 4th or 5th or something like that. I'm out just poking around a few of my permission sites. This is a cornfield I've hit several times before. Several old homes out here, but you're right by a busy highway, so you're pulling up more modern trash than anything else. I decided just to work right along the edge of the road and just pick through tight, higher signals that weren't obviously beer cans and stuff like that. And I finally got a good find here after about a half an hour here. And let me just zoom down here. See that round right there, folks? Look at that. That is a sweet old dandy button, or an old coat button. And the shank looks like it's either bent over. It looks like the shank's still on there. It looks like it's probably just going to be a plain one. But sometimes you can get a pattern off of those. Definitely 18, 10, 1820, 1840, something like that. I'll take that any day. I did get a couple pieces of old lead. One of which I'll show you in the wrap-up is a poured piece of lead. It looks like they were trying to make a button out of it. But heck, I'll take that any day. Let's see if we can find a few more goodies out here in the fields before I go on to my next site, folks. On to the next. And the next find, folks, here at the first cellar hole of the day. Just kind of in the front yard, really trashy. Shotgun shells and iron, but there you go. There's the first decent target. I got that old wheat scent back. I got an old wheat scent back there that's all bent up. I'll show you in a little bit. But here you go. Nice old silver-plated brass buckle or something like that. The tongue is gone, but I'll take it. Pretty deep down there, maybe 6 inches or so under that root. But the machine picked it out pretty well, so I'll take that any day. All right, let's go find a few more relics, guys. On to the next find. Well, here's my next find, folks. So it's not a coin, but it's green and about 5 inches deep, and I think I could have something good. I'm not sure. Let me show you down here. See that right there? Is that a big old green buckle? See how it's got like a hexagonal kind of pattern? I mean, it could be junk, but it's green, and I'm going to live dig it right now. Let's see if we can get it out of there without... No, what in the world is that? I thought it was something good. Look at this. Something green and whatchamacallit. It's probably pretty old, probably 100 years old at least, because it was green and made out of brass, but oh well, that's one for the, let's look up and see what it is. Weird. Some kind of hitch or something? Not sure. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. On to the next. Oh, I had to stop walking up the trail, guys. Look at that, wild turkeys. Right on the trail, right up ahead of me, about 100 yards. If I get any closer than this, they'll scatter into the woods. There's about 15 of them. Probably one big male and a bunch of females and maybe some little ones. But the little ones are growing up this time of year. It's November, so kind of talking low. You can see them right on the crest of that hill down there, right in the middle of the old road. And kind of moving on because they probably hear me now. It's funny how you can run across stuff here in the woods. Every time I get out here in the woods, I either hear a deer or a moose or see something like this. Very cool. All right, let's go on to the next site here. Okay, here we are to my next find, folks. Little tiny target in the hole, and I'm not sure what it is, if it's something good or not, but right there just popped out mid-tone. Cellar hole's about 30 yards away. Stayed away from that because it's just too much iron, which typically, is that a rivet or a part of a 2-piece button? Sometimes, I try to show you guys in the field what these things are, and then I'm not exactly sure. I think that's a two-piece button, but I'll have to take a toothbrush to it and let you know what it is. I mean, it could be a rivet, but it rang up about a 60, something like that. So I think it's something old. If it's two-piece, it's after 1850 or so generally. Maybe late 1800s or something. This is a really old site. This is a 1700s home site. So hopefully I can find some good things here in addition to the buckle and some of the other things I found a little bit ago. It's been quiet for a while, but now I'm got into a little hot spot. All right, I'll take it on to the next. Okay, about 5 minutes later on my next find here, and I don't think this is a coin. It rang up pretty high, but I'll show you. See this little nubbin sticking out right there? Some sort of white metal, like maybe lead, because lead can ring up pretty high, but it was pointy. Now that one is weird. Some kind of attachment. Can't tell if there's going to be, is there going to be a design on that? Yeah, it's definitely made out of lead. It's like really heavy. Triangular piece of lead with a attachment, like attachment on the back there. See that? It's about the size of about an inch across or whatever on each triangle. Is that a some sort of saddle adornment? I mean, typically you just see the little clasps on the back and they're shaped more like a shield. I mean, this is old. I mean, this is old lead. I don't know. I'm going to say saddle adornment, but I don't know. That's a kind of an interesting find. I'll definitely keep that. You know, and it's hold right there in the middle. All right. I'll take it. An old relic from way back for some use or some purpose. That's a couple whatchamacallits I've had on this series of hunts. All right, on to the next. Oh yeah, baby. I finally think I got something good in the hole. It's been about maybe 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes since that little button, and then I got that weird triangle thing, but I keep walking down the old road. I'm still within about 50 yards of the cellar hole, just going really slow, and there's a lot of iron even on the road, so I kind of lower the sensitivity on the machine. But see if I can zoom in right here. Right there, baby, something round. Is that a button? It's a coin, an old copper. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Hell yeah! KG. What is that, a KG2 or a KG3? Maybe a counterfeit? It rang up like an 80. Oops, dropped it. I can't make that out. That's certainly not American. Look at that. There's King George the First. Wow, it's in good shape too. Down in this wet kind of stuff. It's right under a tree root right there. I can't tell. 1700 and something. 1775. Awesome. Pretty worn. Look how thin that is. Colonial copper. I'll take it every day, man. All right, on to the next find. Let's see if we can find some more coins out here. Well, hello again, folks. Here I'm at the next mission here. That other site kind of slowed down after I found those other few items. Old schoolhouse used to be on this property, an old field out here, and I walked into the field, and I'm just going to start to go rows, and I've literally been here 3 seconds, and I've got an old coin already. Here's the hole. And right there's the coin, and I bet this is going to be a wheat or an Indian. Old schoolhouse from the 1800s. Let's see what we can see. It's an Indian. See it right there. Let me see if I can get it. Wow, it may be a fatty. 1865. Whoa, yeah, baby. That's in one of my older Indians. I think I've got that 1863 fatty from earlier in the year, but this one's going to be in better shape. It's not a fatty. The fatties were through 1863 or 1864, so this is one of the first year normal ones. But hey, Civil War, Indian head penny. I'll take it any day. On to the next. I'll get you a cleaned up shot. Alright, here we are at our next find, guys. And I apologize about the wind noise here in the open field. But look at this. This is one of my best flat buttons of the year. Got a little shank pushed over. 1820 to 1840 or so, maybe even earlier. And look at that, it's got like a little grape or flower pattern right there in the middle, little nubbin. Nice little old coat button from the early 1800s. I'll take that any day. Let's see if we can find a few more things, guys. On to the next. Okay, we're back inside now in the warm environment of the Green Velvet Wrap-Up. And let me go over quickly what I found on those series of 3 different hunts. Of course, all these things I'm not going to film because some of them are the same or some of them are common items. But let me go through them really quickly just to refresh you what I got and what I didn't show you. Lead here, you know, you always get pieces of lead. I usually toss these unless they're interesting. Did get a fired musket ball, flattened. That's always a nice find, so I'll definitely keep that. Remember in that farm field I said I've got a piece of poured lead? See how it looks like it was poured into a mold? I don't know if they were trying to make a button out of that or what, but that's kind of interesting, so I definitely kept that. And then I got my, at least what I'm calling, some sort of horse tack adornment or bridle adornment. That's just a guess. If y'all have any kind of information or guess on what that could be, give me a holler and I'll certainly consider it. It's made out of pure lead, very heavy, but it was attached to something, so I don't know. But it was interesting enough and very cut into a, you know, like an equilateral triangle, so I had to think it's some kind of decorative piece, but I don't know. That's just a guess. Here's my other whatchamacallit. Any guesses on that? Trailer hitch, lock plate. I don't know, looks like a key may have gone in right there. That thing may have flipped up, a trunk lock piece. I don't know. Kept that. Got my buckles here. This one I got on film. That's a nice brass buckle. And a couple square or D buckles. This one's probably the oldest. Horse tack, most likely, but they could be human, especially this one with a curve. Could be off a belt. And what else I got? Other buttons and coins. I got a grommet here. I'll toss that. That sounded really good. I thought that was going to be an Indian. Got 2 wheat scents, 1925, about the worst wheat scent I've ever dug. Crazy. Pretty nice condition, 1936 wheat. I'll keep that one for the wheat collection. Buttons, 4 buttons, 3 flatties, and then this nice little flower 2-piece with an iron back that's rusted. That's probably late 1800s. These are all early 1800s. Nice little coat button with a little flower pattern on the back. So anyway, I always like finding the flat buttons. And then 2 more coins. I got my 1865 Indian. She's kind of corroded. But ironically, I lucked out. The best part of the coin is where the date is, 1865. Last year, the Civil War. I'll definitely take that. And then finally, my best coin is my King George III copper. Pretty good shape. It's a little corroded in the front, very thin. 1775, and I gave you a close-up shot on that. You can just make out the last 2 digits. It's a 75. And there's Queen Britannia on the back. It's a little worn. It's only 27 millimeters as opposed to the 29, 30 millimeters on the non-counterfeit types. And it rang up like an 80, and it weighs about the same as a regular issue. So I think this is the real deal. Usually when I've heard about those counterfeits being dug, they ring up lower, like in the mid-tones, 50s or 60s or something like that. But you can chime in if you got any opinions. But it looks like a real deal for me. Another Colonial copper, and I'll take that any day. All right, that's it about this time. The ground is getting colder, and we've got colder weather coming next week, so I got to work for a week, and then we'll see how it goes after that, if I can get back out. I'll always try to get out in the winter if I can, especially in the lower elevations of the Champlain Valley, but who knows? It's winter in the North Country, and you got to just kind of play it by ear on how we're going as the winter rolls along. Thanks for joining me. Have a good holiday season, and remember, dig it all. It's waiting out there in the ground for you to find.